Warning. The language used on The Real Rush may be offensive to some viewers. Don't say I didn't fucking warn you.
Hey gang, this is 6th DVD edition, Dub Sully here, and welcome to another awesome episode of The Real Rush right here on SportsChannel RushTube. This is the 95th episode of The Real Rush, and boy, do we have an exciting episode in store for you ladies and gentlemen today, as the man in charge, John Dub, brings to you the reviews for First Cow, Fatal Affair, and Vivarium. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be great.
The burning questions, oh yes, the burning questions. Where is episode 95, Mr. Dub? What's up with the delays on episode 95, Mr. Dub? Is there even an episode 95, Mr. Dub? Well, here is Mr. Dub coming to you. Way after filming this actual episode that's about to be bestowed upon it, your very eyes. This is actually being filmed 11:32 Tuesday night, July 21st. That is the correct date, and you'll know why that's relevant when you watch this episode. But here is episode 95 of The Real Rush, as we have come through power outages and all types of crazy shit to bring this one to you.
Strap yourselves into your seat. I hope you got a large bucket of popcorn, because here comes episode 95 right here on Rush Channel, Sports Channel, RushTube. Bang your head to the opening riff.
Shut up and sit down.
Fuck yeah. My theme song does kick ass. That's by this dude named Ben Sound. Ben Sound, that's this dude. Ben Sound, that's the dude. Kick ass with the theme song. We've heard for so many episodes here. Speaking of so many episodes, welcome back to The Real Rush. And welcome to episode number 95. Up in the joint. It's your man. Been chilling for a few days. Binge watching like a motherfucker. Lazy as shit. John Dove. Have fun fitting all that shit up on my title card tonight in post. But yeah, it's been you know what? Just took a couple days. I didn't want to take the week completely off from doing an episode, but just wanted to take a couple days and just chill the hell out, y'all. Friday night, third Friday of the month, Bandit Show popped off without a hitch. Thanks to everybody who tuned in. We had an awesome time bringing it to you and making you laugh while doing so. Info on how to stay tuned to the Stagecoach Bandits, as always, at the end of each episode. You're on The Real Rush. How y'all doing? Welcome back to The Real Rush. What's the date? Cause filming this got me all fucked up. Cause usually I'm filming this on, more often than not, like real early on a Sunday morning or whatever. Seriously, what day is it? Ooh, Tuesday, July 21st. I hope I got that right. If not, then I will correct myself in post. Because that's one of the awesome things about being your own editor as well. You can correct shit and probably call yourself out on dumb shit like that too. I don't even know where the hell we were going with all that, but we just rolling on, baby. Like I said, we just been chilling. We just been chilling. Friday night was awesome. The weekend was awesome. Like a Saturday, just sat around binge watching shit on the insanely expensive Rushtron 9 million all day on HBO Max. Old shit. Jumper Jack Flash is up on that joint. It's a classic of mine. One of the first movies that your boy ever saw in the theater. I don't know what you're thinking. Or probably not thinking. But you probably, I would think that you might be thinking that, damn, that's an old ass movie. It is an old ass movie by this point. Came out in 86. I saw it in the theater. Boy was born in 82. Do the math on that shit. That's how early your boy was hitting the theaters. That and Soul Man are the first two movies that I remember seeing in the movie theater. The old school movie theaters that used to be up at Springfield Mall back before, way before they like flooded out and shit, and then we ended up getting the updated General Cinema 2 theaters. You had General Cinemas 1 through 6 at the front, right across the joint from Bennigan's, and then all the way down the hall, right atop the food court, you had General Cinemas 7 through 10. Oh yeah, at the front 1 through 6, and then at the end 7 through 10. Making sure I got my numbers right so I don't sound like a fool on my own hometown shit. Talking to my peeps out there that grew up in Springfield, Virginia. That new Springfield Mall. The fucking old school Springfield Mall. We gotta say the old school Springfield Mall now. I still call shit Springfield Mall because it still looks a little bit the same on the inside. You can still kind of feel out where everything used to be. Now it's called Springfield Town Center, but I'm still gonna call shit Springfield Mall. Same thing as like with the Redskins. They're one of my favorite football teams, obviously. My number one team. The Chargers, baby. The Skins. You being from a DC area, hell yeah, root for them. They're my number 2 team. I'm still gonna call them my fucking Redskins. Have they even chose a name by the time we even post this or film this or whatnot? Because it's early Tuesday as hell morning. That's right, I said early Tuesday as hell. And on this early Tuesday as hell episode of The Real Rush, Tuesday is hell! Tuesday is hell. Coming to you live. Episode 95 of The Real Rush here on YouTube. One of tonight's 3 movies that I got reviewed here for y'all. That's right, at the end of last week's episode, at the end of episode 94, I stated that I was going to have 2 of those movies here for y'all. Neither of those motherfuckers made it to tonight's card. We got 3 entirely different movies. One of those movies is going to, as a matter of fact, the very last movie that I review here on this episode here, this evening, this morning, this afternoon, whenever, wherever you may be watching this joint right here, will be the 400th episode. No, the what? No, we get a little farther of ourselves because you're only on episode 95. The 400th movie that your boy has reviewed on The Real Rush in the 95 episodes that we've been here on YouTube since the in September/early October 2K18. That's a lot of goddamn movies, but we're going to get to that tonight. But before that, we do got a little bit of movie news going on here. So since we did miss, well, not necessarily miss, we kind of called this shit, well, half these shits last week. The Silencing, that did get released on DirecTV on demand. So it's only for DirecTV subscribers, which I am not. So we'll be getting it on August 14th. And Cutthroat City, that got pushed back to July 31st. But what I found interesting about Cutthroat City is the fact that I saw, in addition to its pushed up release date, is the fact that it is listed as an upcoming movie on the Regal Cinemas website. So that is the day that they're planning on reopening. No further news on any of the franchises as far as that goes. So as far as we know, some Cinemarks will be opening. That'd be within like the next like 3 days by the time this joint drops on the tube. Yeah, that's crazy. Shout out to the man, Congressman John Lewis, who we just reviewed the new joint, John Lewis, Good Trouble, last week. That joint just dropped last week. So rest in peace, good sir. Hopefully his good words and his good actions from his good trouble will carry on amongst us all. And if you haven't seen the documentary John Lewis, Good Trouble yet, absolute must see. See the review last week, episode 94 for that joint. And The Last Dance is now up on Netflix. Check that joint out. If you haven't seen it, I've seen that joint in its entirety. Watch that shit. Don't forget to peep Ithaca. Chapter 3 of that joint dropped this past Thursday or Friday. And the season 1 finale drops tomorrow, Wednesday, July 22nd. Ooh, so that confirms what the date is today. Boom. Tuesday, July 21st. Baby. So that brings us to the 3 movies that were unannounced until unless you saw the preview that I'll be laying down, if that's even included in this week's preview on Instagram, Facebook, wherever I'll be laying that shit down. So maybe I'll try something new for a change. It'd be kind of nice. Yet I digress. Let's go ahead and get on down to the 3 movies that I have reviewed for y'all on this week's Real Rush Ticket. And for the first time,
Welcome to the extreme!
yes, for the first time, I'm going to state this right here. There will be only one main event tonight. One of these movies will walk away with the main event title for this week's Real Rush Pick of the Week as far as movies go. Duh. There will be no co-main events tonight. I think only one of these 3 movies will walk away with that shit. That's what I say right now. Who knows? I could change my mind here in a second. But I'm trying to fucking make it interesting here with stipulations. So let's get on down with the first movie that I have reviewed here for y'all. Episode 95. This joint is called First Cow. This joint stars John Magaro and Orion Lee. They play 2 loners in 1820s Northwest. It's like, West. It's not necessarily the Wild West, but it's like Jungle West and shit like that. Yeah. Cinematography. We'll get to that in a second. Anywho, these loners, they seek to earn money using one of theirs fantabuloso cooking skills. However, the main ingredient is milk they've secretly been siphoning, for lack of a better term. Holy shit, I actually wrote that. from our local rich man's cow. And that's the synopsis right there. You gotta see if you haven't seen the trailer for it, peep the trailer for it. But this has been a long awaited here on The Real Rush. This is based on the novel The Half-Life by Jonathan Raymond. The film itself plays in the 2 hours and 2 minutes that it has the running time. It plays much like a visual fable. And that's the most I can say about that element without potentially giving anything away there. It is slow moving, or it may seem that way, or slow burning, if that's depending on your perception there. However, I think that definitely works to set things in motion for the second half. And remember, it's like a fable, but it's it's like, yeah, it's like somebody's telling you a story. Just hold on for that ride there. Because once it gets going for that second half, it does pick up some crazy steam there. Crazy steam. Overall, it's riveting and at times heartwarming tale of friendship. And here we go, the picturesque cinematography that is to die for. I love the way that it was shot. I love the way that movies like this are shot. Peep it. Overall, def more for, or even most for, potentially, the art house peeps. However, to everybody who's always talking about on the whatever the social media of habit feeds, pick your poison, maybe, whatever they be going on about I need something different to watch. I don't want to be watching the same thing. Then they end up watching something similar to the fucking thing, same like 16 pieces of junk that they've been sitting there watching that I'm getting tired of for the last fucking however long and whatnot. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody knows them. There's always at least one on your feed. Yet I not digress. If you're one of those people who's always talking about looking for something different, give this a shot. Just because it's more for, or even, like I said, most for the art house crowd, doesn't mean that it's only for the art house crowd. So don't immediately write it off as soon as you see it pop up on your Prime Video or your VOD of choice may be. Give this a shot if you're looking for something different. This would have been one of the last Friday night main events that we had, if we had made it to the Angelica that night, Friday night, March 13th, Friday the 13th. So before theaters actually officially shut down, or when the cryostasis themselves, we put ourselves into self-imposed cryostasis, I suppose you could say. Last minute. But this was on the ticket for that night. And I really wish that we could have still made it that night. And maybe one day that this will still be playing in theaters. But man, I would have loved to have seen this in, not even just the theater, but to have still seen it up at the Angelica. Because the film overall, and my peeps who are not only maybe watching this and have just been to the Angelica, but who have been to the Angelica on somewhat of a often steady stream. You can smell what the dub is cooking, so you get a good sense of the environment, the atmosphere that the Angelica brings to you. This movie had that late night last showing. I don't think that this was supposed to be the last showing on the ticket, but still, it just had that Angelica feel to it. Like I said, you diehard Angelica peeps know what I'm talking about. Like I could feel. I haven't sipped on my ginger ale. Just, it wasn't special flavored like I would have had up at the Angelica, but just sipped on that, watched First Cow on the Rushtron. It felt right. It felt good. It just fits the movie. I could almost actually smell. I had to write this part down just in case I do, because I could almost smell the Angelica as I was watching this, sipping the ginger ale. Little going on. So, First Cow, check it out. Get something different on your palate, but definitely peep it. Definitely peep it. Definitely peep it. Which is that the main event? I'm not gonna reveal which one's the main event yet. Because next up on this episode's Real Rush Ticket. Oh, wait a minute. I'm almost going the wrong way here. This is some new shit that I admit I almost just straight up missed this. And if I hadn't checked the list of American films in 2020 on Wikipedia today to see that this did drop on this past Friday was. whatever day that was. So that would have been the 17th. This dropped on the 17th on Netflix. And I saw it coming up on the coming soon Netflix list on Netflix many weeks ago. But having not seen it pop up on the Wikipedia list, I didn't add it to remind. It wasn't synced. But then it popped up on the Wikipedia list. There's something to say, so I said, oh shit. That's how I know when it's like something serious that I should be saying. The name of this next movie that I keep going on and on and on and on and on about is called Fatal Affair. And the name of the movie is right off the bat, just hearing it, you already probably know what it's about, how it goes down, and how it's gonna end. You may be right in that theory, you may not be. That's why it's called a theory. There's no digression in that. Nia Long and Nia and Omar. There's no Ia up in no Fatal Affair. Ia. Get the fuck out of here, Ia. There's none of that. There's Nia Long and Omar Epps up in Fatal Affair. Nia Long, playing a successful attorney, married successful attorney, ends up catching up, reconnecting, there you go, with the college friend, Omar Epps. After this rekindling or reconnection, his obsession with her goes to the extreme. Like the, whoa dude, like, calm your nuts down type of extreme. But I mean, you can't tell a motherfucker like this, because that might be your last words right there. Yeah, I digress. But yeah, after that all goes down, after a mistaken moment of drunken, heated passion, on the hush hush. That's all I'm going to say about the movie. If you didn't already kind of put together what the movie was all about. But if you tie that together with the title, you kind of know where it's going. It's like Fatal Attraction and The Good Son had this crazy ass love fest that resulted in this love child that went on and grew up to become a Lifetime movie. This definitely had overall a Lifetime-ish, very Lifetime-ish feel to it, which in that is not all a bad thing, and I'm gonna tell you why right here, because that does make it fall under the guilty pleasure category. And I'm gonna say this because I'm even guilty of the shit. As much shit as anybody might talk about those type of movies, where you kind of, yeah, like if you've seen one, you've seen them all. So you know how they kind of go, especially when it comes to something of this genre, like the stalker type genre, the jilted lover turned, ooh, I'm gonna fucking rule your life and fucking show up everywhere that you are and be all creepy and shit like that. That kind of genre that sometimes that you see in the theater, or more often than not you see on Lifetime. As much shit as you talk about that genre, you fucking love them. You still get sucked into them. This does fall under that category. It is cheesy. It is cliche. It is predictable. Yet, it's still entertaining for all that if you factor in the B-movie factor. And that goes right back to the whole guilty pleasure part of it right there. So maybe some people would call that as like, you know, a good movie to have on in the background or some shit like that. It's right now, when we watched it a couple hours ago, it was number 2 in the US on Netflix. And obviously it didn't get to number 2 for no reason. And I've even seen a dude rap on my feed that he really liked it. So people are liking it. So overall, I'm saying, if you wanna it does fall under, in my honest opinion, one of those, if you have seen it, if you've seen one of those, you've seen them all. But people, if you wanna, being kind of smoked up definitely enhanced the feel of it for what it's worth, for the whole B-movie factor. So in that sense, it is enjoyable. So in that sense, you go in not taking it too seriously, knowing what you're gonna get, but still kind of not going what you're gonna get. There are still little hidden nuggets of gemness in there. So yeah, Fatal Affair. Check it out. It's on Netflix. And as we close out that one, take a sip of Pepsi. Cause they're not paying for shit, but we sip on it and we enjoy it. Alright, rapid fire, mid-episode, breakup, whatever, shit. Back in the day, as long as it was on, from like 87, 88, whenever it started, until it went off the air. So that joint started when I was like 5, maybe 6 years old. But all the way through my, like, going through puberty, all that shit, like coming into young adulthood and shit, I was never a really big fan of Saved by the Bell. Boom. I would watch it if it was on sometimes, and that was only on weekday afternoons when it was the reruns, and that was the 5 to 6 hour time slot that it took to get to something else, and nothing else was actually on except news, so that was the only option. So I would sit through that to get to an hour of Mama's Family or whatever. And yeah, I would much rather watch Mama's Family than Saved by the Bell. Why? Because even as a young boy coming up to be the man John Dove that you see before you, that shit seemed hokey to me. It seemed corny to me. The fucking drug episode where the celebrity shows up to do the anti-drug ad, and oh, what the fucking shocker! He all of a sudden, we didn't know, but he does fucking drugs. We'll make a song by ourselves. Gang's cool is the one to be cool, the one to run to be fool. Fuck that noise. Get that shit out of my face, man. That and Friends. Why? Because Martin came on at 8 o'clock on Thursdays. That's why, son. Full House versus Saved by the Bell. I still gotta go. I gotta go with Full House. I gotta go with Full House. Cause even as corny as that show got sometimes, that shit was fucking hilarious. Jam. Cause you had Uncle Joey with the beaver. Rub? That shit. Defining moment in young J-Dub's life. Pinnacle in that shit is funny. Hire that man. Now I say, David Coulier.
Captain Mayday here. I've got your 6.
As we yawn, come along back here. Episode 95 of The Real Rush right here on YouTube. This last movie that your man's got reviewed here for y'all is our 400th movie ever reviewed here on The Real Rush on YouTube in these last 95 episodes. 95 episodes, 400 movies with this review right here. This is not a new drop. Like, this joint has actually been out for the last couple weeks. And I've been keeping my eye on it the last couple weeks. And then all of a sudden, it pops up as free on Amazon Prime. Fuck yeah. So, we popped this shit on. The insanely expensive Rush Trying 9 Billion on Thursday night, and this joint is called Vivarium. Yep, it's just as creepy as the fucking title logo. Love. Vivarium. Vivarium, y'all. This stars Jesse Eisenberg and Imogen Poots. Poots. Not Imogen Shits. Not Imogen Farts. That joke's probably been said before, but I went there anyway because it's still is pretty funny to me. Imogen Poots. They're a young couple living in Ireland. You know, they're looking for a house. Maybe something to raise a family in, some shit like that, but their own first real house, right? And they get led to this joint that is located in this endless suburbia. Every house looks the same. It's like the best way that actually I don't even want to. Well, if you haven't at least seen the trailer, the best way I can describe it without giving anything away, it's like if you were to take all the fucking like actual houses, not the hotels, but the houses of Monopoly, and line them up in like rows and shit as if they were gridded, it would look like that. It's pretty freaky. Vivarium, yo. Yeah. So every house looks the same. And them Poots and Eisenberg, they're left. They're just left trapped within this environment, this atmosphere, this suburban paradoxical nightmare. Paradoxical nightmare.
Paradoxical nightmare.
Hopefully I just did something really cool in post right there to make that shit awesome. If it even worked. Sometimes it doesn't. Awesome. Or maybe not. Yet I digress. This shit. Vivarium. This shit is weird, y'all. This shit is so fucking weird. This shit is so weird. But it's like the cliche saying, I suppose, goes. It's like watching a car wreck. You know it's gonna be horrifying, devastating, mind-shattering, perhaps, by the time it gets to the end, but you can't turn your eyes away from it. It even seemed, and this is kind of like a slow burn, not in the sense film where it takes it a minute to get to where it needs to be before it ends. No, this is a slow burn type of film where even days after having it laid upon your visual cortex, it's still laying some more nuggets or whatever on your brain. I just realized today that it seemed kind of Cronenberg-ish, or Cronenberg-like, if you will. Overall, it's dark. It's fucking grim. But in all the best ways. Like, it's darkly creepy. It's darkly visual. It's darkly comic. It's darkly tedious. But that also enhances the film's mood. So once again, as I stated for another movie earlier, if you think that that would actually make the movie flow against itself, it doesn't. It makes it work for it. It's darkly fucked up. It's darkly disturbing. But along with being darkly tedious, I must add, it's also darkly flat. To add to that, not only kind of like claustrophobic feel, but just that feel of like a side-scrolling 8-bit shooter video game back in the day. You can look this way, you can look this way, but you can't fucking look this way or that way, like that. Just kind of that flat feel. You'll know when you see it. Or if you're a gamer, you know what I was trying to lay down there. It's one of those movies that, as one of my boys put, for Southland Tales actually, a couple months ago when I reviewed that. It's one of those movies, Vivarium is, that exists. If you smell what I'm cooking. But not only that it just exists, but that it might exist just to fuck with you. With certain people on a certain level. I don't know. Some people might even call this another movie that after you see once, you can just throw it on as something in the background to fuck with the people that might be around, they're chilling, but they haven't seen this movie before. I just came up with that just now. That shit ain't on my treatment here. It's definitely one of those movies that gets progressively heavier as it goes. It's only 99 minutes, but it's a total fucking trip. It's already, like I said, it's already been out for a few months, but it's now free on Prime. Overall, peep it. See if you can handle all that the film has to throw at you. And Vivarium, my friends, is this week's Real Rush main event. The lone main event of the week. Episode 95, the 400th movie reviewed here on the Real Rush, is this week's main event. How to do the hallelujah holy shit. That's what we going down. What we going downtown to do. Learn a new beat with some shoes. And maybe we'll eat some pupusas. Cause that's what's going down tonight. Vivarium. This week's main event. And cha-cha-cha. And cha-cha-cha. And cha-cha-cha. That, my friends, is a wrap, motherfuckers. 95 episodes of the Real Rush going down. Better get on down. You better get on down. About to rhyme small in this shit. But I don't want to make this shit too long. Cause I'm trying to hit the bong and get some food in the stomach. And what else rhymes with stomach? I guess I could have said it wanna rummage. Gonna have to rummage through the footage. Cause it's gonna be a lot of sootage. What the fuck is that now? Yo, that's a wrap. Thank y'all for tuning in and sticking with episode 95 if you have thus far and just listening to my what seems to be endless stream of consciousness ramblings. Episode 96 will be coming to y'all this weekend. Normally I'd be saying next weekend, but seeing as in it's Tuesday now, and Lord knows when I'll actually be getting this joint out. But this weekend, episode 96, we'll have 2 new movies reviewed for y'all. Hopefully. I never put a stamp of guarantees on this shit. But we got The Kissing Booth 2. Oh yay. Haven't seen The Kissing Booth 1, but heard nothing but rave things about that shit. That'll be an interesting watch. So maybe I'll have both reviewed for you. If I choose to just go ahead and say fuck it and let me follow up with the first one first to catch up. If I want to put myself through that challenge. And then we have The Rental. Dave Franco's directorial debut. That's a nice ticket coming up next weekend. Of course, we're going to keep our ears and eyes to the ground and to the wire, what have you. Because July 24th, that's when Cinemark is supposed to be opening up their shit. So that's this week. That's in like 3 days and shit. Yep. I got crossed up on that shit earlier. Oh, no, I didn't. I said 3 days. 3 days. 3 days. Rated R. Starring Kevin Costner, Kurt Russell, and Matthew Broderick, Denzel Washington, Clint Eastwood, Chris Jericho, Emile Hirsch, Brad Pitt, Woody Harrelson, Damon Wayans Jr., just this crazy ass 90s. Like before the Expendables. That's who it'd be. Whatever I just named that group there. That's who it'd be. In the meantime, y'all, as I stated at the beginning of the show, don't forget, give the old bandits a check, a peep, a follow, a like, some love. Up on the webs and up on Facebook, you can find us at StagecoachTC.com. That is Stagecoach, T as in time, C as in coach.com. For all the latest Bandits news. Also on Facebook, Stagecoach Theater Company. We the ones in Ashburn, Virginia. Repping it. Hardcore. The burn. Or whatever the hell they call it. I'm not from no damn Ashburn. That's just where we happen to be. The Bandits are universal in a sense, but we homegrown in Northern Virginia, baby. So tune on in, get some of our humor, and see what else the Stagecoach Theater Company has to offer to y'all. We got things of all ages, but the Bandits shit is definitely 18 and up, so don't come crying to us when you say we didn't warn you. Then that's all I'm about to say about that. Anywho, in the meantime, as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, any shit like that, feel free to type those on to the comment box. You're viewing this on the page somewhere. It's somewhere up on this page in YouTube. You're viewing this week's episode right here, right now. To everybody who has subscribed to The Real Rush up here on YouTube thus far, thank you for having done so. If you haven't done so thus far, what the hell are you waiting for? You want to be the first to know when your boy drops a new episode and shit. And don't forget, we can still spread love these days, even though you can't be, all physically hugging and touching up on everybody as much as you might want to. It's brought a whole new edge to, for lack of a better term, running game these days, if I do say so myself. It's interesting. It's not necessarily a bad thing. We're going to leave it at that. Yet I digress. That is a digression. That is a fucking digression. But we can still spread love, like happiness or whatnot, in the same manner. And while you're spreading your happiness, spread the word of The Real Rush in the same manner. So, let motherfuckers know about The Real Rush. Your boy, John Dub, is up in the house with his voice scratching like he just hit 13-year-old puberty for some reason at 38. But dropping the latest and greatest in all movie reviews, y'all. So let your peoples know. And don't forget that The Real Rush does have replay value. So any out of 400 movies now, any movie out of 400 movies, just pick one out of 400 movies, most of them within the last couple years, that you want to know what your boy John Dub thought about here and get a good honest to God opinion of. Get a good honest to spam and a can review of. All you gotta do is go up to the YouTube search bar at the top of the page here and type in quotation marks The Real Rush, followed by outside of quotation marks the name of the movie that you're looking for, and then boom, instant movie review on demand for you, because your man John Dub and The Real Rush got y'all covered for life, son. And as always, you can follow your man John Dub on Instagram for my live movie check-ins and updates as they occur. You can follow your man at JDubChampion, hashtag The Real Rush. And for your man, John Dub, no, that's backwards. The fuck? The name of the show ain't John Dub, and my name is The Real Rush. Do that again. For The Real Rush, I am your man John Dub. Thank you once again for tuning in, as always, especially during what's going on. Hopefully that this episode brought some infotainment to y'all. This shit ain't for everybody, but to those who do tune in, thank you very much, seriously, for tuning in. Maybe not each and every week, but for still being Rushaholics. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. I hope you do, because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But say at the same time, hopefully this episode has found not only to serve to give y'all some info and entertainment, infotainment. That's why I'm saying bringing back that word from the late 90s and shit on PC games and shit. Yet I digress. And thanks for sticking through my ramblings as well. This is like my Jerry Springer's final thought and whatnot. Hopefully that this episode has also been finding you as safe and healthy as you possibly can be. And if you ain't as safe and healthy as possibly you can be, hopefully this episode has found you on the road to, on the mends to whatever may ail you. Thanks once again for tuning in. I am your man, John Dub. Enjoy yourselves out there, y'all. Take care of one another. Take care of yourselves. Chill the fuck out, though. Just chill the fuck out. Just calm it down. You feel the tensions rising, just calm that shit the fuck down. Bring yourself back to center, baby. Have fun, y'all. Love J-Dub. Love John Dub. Love the Dub. Yeah. Love the Dub. We'll see you next weekend. No, we'll see you this weekend. Peace.